Hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video, or should I say rant, because today we will be talking about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which both me and Demeech have a lot of problems with.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't seem that these remakes are righting any of the wrongs that were found in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I really wanted to give them a shot. I kept an open mind. I thought that maybe that they would be ambitious and great and make great Pokemon games once again. And while I'm aware this was developed by a different studio, I was hopeful that they'd be able to create great remakes, but unfortunately, the game is leaked, a lot of information's out, and it's underwhelming to say at the very least.
So the first thing I want to talk about with this game relates to both content and the game's development itself, because a couple days ago, the Pokemon Twitter account and Nintendo of America revealed basically like a day one patch update that adds a significant amount of content in. And this includes like cutscenes, the opening cutscenes, music, which I'll get into in a bit, and other things like that. A significant amount of content. Like, I think there's even things that I didn't even mention, like different online features and different features that were new to this game were added in this update. And I just find it unacceptable that this wasn't in the base game. Like, even though it's a day one patch, it's coming out the day the game comes out, or actually technically before the game comes out because reviewers and everything. This really should have been in the actual cartridge. Like, you have to download the all this content to the cartridge. Like, it really goes to show that this game was rushed, and a lot of this content was probably developed last minute.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be the case because I did hear about the day one update patch from you, and I was remembering a lot of the Switch games that released during this year, and I was pretty surprised that I could just get into the game with no updates whatsoever. There wasn't a day one update for WarioWare Gold or Metroid Dread, which was pretty cool. Now, sure, day one patches sometimes fix some minor flaws, but if they're adding a significant amount of content, I'm not sure whether or not it'll change reviewers' minds and such because I'm not sure. Have they released it yet?
No, they haven't released it yet, but I really feel like it really goes to show that this game was unfinished, and I think it showed somewhere on Twitter that some features won't even be available at launch. Like, I think there's one online mode where you can only, I think you could only like trade or do something with two players or something like that online.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it just really goes to show that this game was rushed and it's unfinished, and it really should have been delayed.
I agree with you there because with the Pokemon remakes, they usually release a little over a decade or close to a decade after the originals, like with Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, I know your experience with the Pokemon series isn't as extensive as my experience with the Pokemon franchise. I started with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and pretty much have played almost every mainline game, with the exception of Sword and Shield. And looking at these remakes, there's a lot to be desired.
Yeah, when I originally was looking at the remakes and everything back in February, I was like, I get like you, I kind of kept an open mind about them. I was actually a little excited about them. I actually like the art style because I'm a fan of Link's Awakening, and I felt like this remake was actually promising and would have actually had a decent amount of content and features that were added onto the originals. But ever since a few days ago, like with all these leaks and everything, it just really feels like the game is kind of shaping out to be a lot like Pokemon Sword and Shield with its development. Even though it was made by a different developer, I feel like it's making a lot of the same mistakes that Sword and Shield made, which kind of makes me worry for like other Pokemon games in the future, because I feel like this model of the games being rushed out to be released on a certain date is kind of harmful to these games. I feel like it's definitely not helping them with everything. It's just lowering the quality overall because we all know how Sword and Shield turned out. It's just these games,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, they're just being rushed, and I just feel like they need more time. And I feel like the Pokemon Company and all the companies involved, obviously Nintendo, I feel like Nintendo might have some aspects with this because I feel like Nintendo's probably getting a lot of money from the Pokemon games and everything, so I'm not sure if they have much say in when these games release, but it might be another thing behind Furukawa.
Speaking of Fudakawa, did you know his favorite game of all time is Pokemon Sword and Shield? I'm not kidding either.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
No disrespect if you like Sword and Shield, but out of the millions of games out there, I don't think that one is of the highest quality. But like you were saying, you know, as I stated before, these remakes release almost 15 years after the original Pokemon Diamond and Pearl release on the DS. If we had to wait a year or two more, it really wouldn't make a difference, and we would get a higher quality product. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on behind closed doors. Game Freak and the Pokemon Company could have poor management. I remember hearing that the morale at Game Freak was at an all-time low after Sword and Shield, but these games are developed by a different developer. But that doesn't change the fact that past remakes set standards that fans were expecting, because I know we were talking about some of the Pokemon games that you played, and I was looking at the remakes of the games. With Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they remade Gen 2 beautifully, added quite a bit of extra content. You could use every Pokemon released at the time, meaning that you could use all the Gen 4 Pokemon, because you gotta keep in mind, when Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver released, Gen 4 was the latest generation at the time. You can see how much love and care and passion was put into Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Even Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which are heavily criticized, I don't know why, had every Pokemon available at the time, a bunch of new Mega Evolutions, new features, and there's just a lot added in. Not to mention the presentation was remade to look like X and Y. Some people were a little bit iffy about it, but you know what? Since the series was transitioning into 3D, I really like that they gave Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire a glow-up to fit the modern landscape of Pokemon. So, the past remakes, and yes, even Fire Red and Leaf Green being the first ones, they added a lot of extra content that weren't found in the original games. But from what I'm seeing, this appears to be just really a one-to-one remake with a few quality of life improvements.
Yeah,
and I've heard some fans saying that, you know, it's not a bad thing. That's what fans wanted. They wanted a remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. But you have to understand that when they meant remake, they meant something along the lines of Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, which added quite a bit while also remaking those entries beautifully.
Yeah, I definitely have a problem with the content in this game. Like, well, with the art direction, I really don't have a problem with it that much, because it probably would have ended up looking like Sword and Shield if it was, like, fully, in 3D and everything. But
I like the art direction, too.
Yeah, but the problems I have with the content is that there's no new Mega Evolutions, no National Dex, and no Platinum content.
The weird thing about the Mega Evolutions is that they were a huge feature introduced in Generation 6. Something that seems to be a future standard for Pokemon.
And the thing is,
Gen 7 oddly got rid of them. But you could still use them.
Even in Let's Go, they had Mega Evolutions. Which is weird, like, when looking at that game, that was more of like a casual game compared to like actual remakes with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is really weird. It really seems like, ironically, the Let's Go games seem to have more effort put into them than, even though they're pretty limited, it still seems like they have more effort put into them than both Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like, they have an orchestrated soundtrack. I would honestly say that the graphics look a little better, and I just feel like overall, even though like they're pretty limited, it just seems like those games ironically have more put into them than Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Yeah, that's very weird to say the least, because I agree with you there. With Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, sure they're remakes of Pokemon Yellow, which, I'm just gonna say it, Generation 1 has not aged the best, mainly because it's just on the Game Boy, and if you look at some of the sprites, like, if you see the original sprite for Mew from Pokemon Red and Green, you'll know exactly what I mean, but I did think that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were good remakes of those games despite being limited in some aspects. Of course, they were aimed towards a more casual audience to tie in with Pokemon Go, but I still found fun with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and like you said, with Sword and Shield and now Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it appears that there's not going to be the polish that, just past Pokemon games had. Even something as recent as Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon had more effort put into it than Pokemon Sword and Shield, and now these. Another thing you were mentioning is a lack of Platinum content, and that was a Gen 4 game that I played. I got Pokemon Platinum because, at the time, all the games were released, so I didn't have to choose between Diamond and Pearl. I just got Platinum, and that added quite a bit of extra content. I'm not going to get into detail what it is, because it could be going into spoiler territory, but to see it missing from this game is baffling to say the least.
Yeah, it's just...
other reasons,
yeah.
included stuff from Soul and Emerald.
I find it unacceptable that a game from 2008 on the DS has more content than a game released on the Switch in 2021. It just really doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they didn't think of it. Like, were they just doing a one-to-one Diamond and Pearl, nothing from Platinum? It really doesn't make sense to me. It really would have made a lot of sense if they actually added content from Platinum and actually put more effort into the game and everything. And as you were saying about polish a little bit ago, and relating to that and also music, I feel like the music in this game has basically no effort put into it at all. Like, it basically is just MIDI tracks. It just basically sounds like the original tracks, like, basically mixed around with new instruments and a MIDI keyboard. Like, there's almost no effort. Like, I did hear that there were some songs, like, remade in an update, like, and supposedly they were orchestrated, but I listened to them and they didn't really sound much better. They still sounded like MIDI, but with a couple more instruments added. Like, it just sounds unacceptable for a game in 2021. And looking at even Sword and Shield had a good soundtrack. And also the Let's Go games, they had a fully orchestrated soundtrack. So I don't know why a remake has worse music than the original. And I feel like another example of a remake having worse music is I feel like it's the Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I heard that game had slightly worse music than the originals, but I feel like that was due to the limited funding from Alpha Dream. But we're looking at the Pokemon Company. Billions of dollars. And they couldn't remake the music with actual orchestrated tracks.
Now, with the Bowser's Inside Story remake, I did play that, and I thought the music did sound better, but from what I heard of the remakes being Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it definitely isn't acceptable, because even looking at the past remakes, if you listen to some of the songs from those games, they sound even better. Like one example being the final trainer theme from Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver. If you listen to the original one, and then listen to the remake, there is a huge difference in quality, with the remake pretty much being superior in every aspect. However, if you did like the original music better, there was an item that you could use in the game called the Game Boy Sounds, where it would have the music from the originals. So they really did put a lot more effort into past remakes, like I said, but I can answer your question exactly of why these remakes really don't have much to them. as well as why Game Freak seems to be pushing out Pokemon games every year. And although we didn't get a Pokemon game last year, they were working on the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
So,
I regret, but I'm gonna have to make a confession. I bought that and I regret it. It's just, it's awful. Like
hey, I like to be the guinea pig because I didn't get the expansion pass.
Yeah, but it's really weird, like how they're managing these games. Like I feel like it's more maybe Nintendo pushing these games out than Game Freak, because I think Game Freak is mostly involved with the development, while Nintendo is mostly like with the publishing of the Pokemon games and everything. So there's probably certain deadlines they have to have these games out, and I feel like Nintendo's probably pushing this to get like a holiday game in and everything, though I would argue that Mario Party Superstars is probably going to be is probably good enough for the holiday season, and Metroid Dread also. But I feel like a lot of the Pokemon games recently, it's a mixture of both Nintendo and trying to get them out with the merch, like with all the merch releasing, so it's probably both of those factors pushing it to be rushed, which I really think they should change that sometime. Like, I don't know if it's even possible for them to change that because of, like, the merch, the anime, and Nintendo pushing them to publish the game, or to publish the game and everything. But I really don't know how they would, resolve actually having better release dates, and actually pushing back the release dates and delaying the games. But it's unfortunate that a lot of games right now with Pokemon that's how that's happening. It's just really weird.
Yeah, whatever happened to Miyamoto's famous saying that a delayed game can eventually be good, but a rushed game is bad forever? And even with updates, those sour first impressions will last, and a good example is Mario Tennis Aces for me, because I got that game day one, and I was so disappointed with the lack of content that it didn't matter what they added, I just never wanted to go back to the game and ended up selling it. And I have no regrets either. But, you know, with the Pokemon Company, no one really knows exactly what is going on behind closed doors. Some say it's management, some say it's Nintendo, but that doesn't change the fact that trying to push these games out yearly is detrimental to the franchise as a whole. The only series that have ever benefited from yearly releases are Just Dance and, oddly enough, the Hudson Mario Party games, which, wow, I do find that kind of weird.
Yeah, because all those Hudson Soft Mario Party games were pretty high quality, and it just seems weird but
that's what's funny about it, because you had the ND Cube Mario parties being terrible,
and those were like every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, where they fixed things with Mario Party Superstars, which is essentially the top 100 done right. But do you know what it took to get Mario Party Superstars? It took criticism and feedback from the fans. Even in Super Mario Party, despite that game being very flawed and having a mixed reception, ND Cube was at least listening to what the fans wanted.
Yeah.
They dipped the car mechanic, and with the Pokemon games, I think that fans should speak out. You are no way entitled wanting a better product, because they're not giving these away. These are games that you have to buy, and just simply wanting a better product is in no way being entitled or being a baby.
And
like with the Joy-Cons, are we just gonna say we're all entitled for not wanting them to drift because we should be grateful that they even have buttons or connect to the Switch? No. If there's a problem, you gotta speak out about it.
yeah, and a lot of people say that, oh, the game will sell anyway, it doesn't matter if you won't buy it. Because even though a game sells, that doesn't mean, like, some companies aren't just completely ignoring, like, the criticism and everything. Because, again, with Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars, Super Mario Party ended up being the best-selling Mario Party game, and they still responded to the criticism and made Superstars.
If anything, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a direct response to the criticisms of Sword and Shield. I'm still being cautiously optimistic, considering how the Pokemon franchise has kind of seen a decline in quality. Actually, not kind of, it has. So they do know about the criticisms, and it just makes me laugh and also disappoints me when people are just calling others entitled for wanting better products. That was mainly why I left Twitter, because I realized it was like talking to a wall, because you can't really get your point across in a tweet like you can with the video.
So, anyways, do you have any more thoughts on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl before I end the discussion?
Well, a few thoughts that I had were that, just summarizing everything, I was really looking forward to the games. I kept an open mind. I even got the Dialga and Palkia Switch Lite because it looks super cool. But when it comes to getting these games, I'm probably going to do what I did with Pokemon Sword and just buy it used. Not only will it be significantly less expensive, but Game Freak won't get the message that this is okay and that they really need to halt trying to push these Pokemon games out on a yearly basis. That's really all I gotta say, but it is disappointing regardless that these remakes don't exactly seem to be the best in the series and don't have the ambition that past titles had.
And it's just unfortunate that people have been wanting Gen 4 remakes for years. I think it was like, since the 3DS era, people have been wanting Gen 4 remakes, and now we finally have them, and they're just rushed and lacking in content. And it just really sucks that it has to be that way. Like, all of the other, like, older generations, 1, 2, and 3, have excellent remakes. But this one ends up being the worst. And it's just rushed, lacking in content, having a lot of problems, and being unfinished, like, right with the actual base game. So, anyways, those are our thoughts on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. So, what are your thoughts on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Let me know down in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.
Keep calm and dot on, guys. Also, if you want a great remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, it's called Pokemon Platinum. Goodbye.